You know it when you meet someone who lives in gratitude. There's just something different about them. There's a light. There is something almost tangible that you can feel from them as they maneuver life, looking through the lens of gratitude instead of a lens that everyday people live through. You could probably think of somebody right now, right? But what we don't realize is that they have learned how to exercise a scientific power that literally opens up doors. Is it possible that gratitude can open up doors? Well, today we are talking about how that happens, how we can increase the skill of gratitude. And oh, yeah, we're going there. We're talking about stinky fish. So stay tuned because we're putting a twist on gratitude. And I'm also revealing the three levels of gratitude. And did I tell you this? I'm grateful that you're here today. I'm Rozanne Marsh. Let's dig in. Years ago, after I purchased my SUV, I was given the gift of an accessory manager. And what do? They come to your home with your brand new car and they go through all the different bells and whistles, the cockpit of your vehicle, and teach you how to set the tire gauge, the tire pressure, when to change your oil, how to change the different stations, how to set your seats, anything you can think of, they work with you. After 45 minutes, he said, "Okay, anything else I can do?" And I went, "Yes." I am struggling with pairing my garage door opener from my new SUV to my garage door opener in my home. I can't get in my garage. He said, "Not a problem." I actually owned a garage company and I know exactly how to do these things. So we got out of the ladder, got up there, started feeling around. We tried a couple different things and nothing didn't work. Then he said, "Okay, I'm going to try this." And he opened up all these different doors and different things, looked to see, yep, everything's working, everything's working. Nothing. After an hour, he was like sweating. He said, "I don't get this. I've never not been able to set a garage door opener to pair it." He said, "I don't know what to tell you." And I was like, "Oh, but I have to get in my garage. What good is it to have a new car that can't even drive in the garage at night?" "But wait," I said, "I've got another garage. Are you willing to try over there?" He said, "Yeah, let's try it over there." So we went over there, did the same process. And you know what? The same results. He could not get it to pair. But this time he took out the motherboard, and this time he got on the phone with the company and was calling and saying they were looking at every single thing. There was no tangible, scientific, mechanical reason why that door should not have paired with that brand new SUV. And he said, "I don't know. I'm scratching my head. I don't even know what to do here." And all the while that he was doing all this work to try to figure out what was wrong, I was cleaning and organizing my garage to stay busy. And he'd been watching me, and when he finally just kind of gave up a little bit, he looked at me and he said, "This is a pretty big house. I do not know how do you do it. How do you keep on top of this house?" I was a little bit amused, and then I said with confidence, "I don't know, but I am so grateful." Ping! Immediately, the garage door descended and the car was synced to the lifter. And we both just looked at each other with our mouths open. And he said, "Did just what happened happen?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "And did it happen when you said the word grateful?" And I marveled. I said, "Yes." And then we went on to have another half-hour conversation just about gratitude. And I gratefully opened and closed my garage door before he left. Listen, it was almost like the universe was saying, "Hey, pay attention. Gratitude is the key that opens and closes doors." So when you step into gratitude, it opens things that you had no idea were there, and it makes things move forward. Well, I will never forget that experience. It's as if I'm experiencing it again today, just telling the story. And gratitude really is about recognizing something, feeling it, and then expressing it. There's really three parts to gratitude. One is to recognize something to be grateful for, feel that gratitude for it, and then express it. That is the ultimate. Okay, here's a hypothetical question for you. What if you woke up one day and only the things that you had expressed gratitude for were still in your life? What would you be so grateful that you had expressed gratitude for? What are those things? Because there's some things it's easy to express gratitude for. But here's the bigger question. What would be missing from your life because you hadn't expressed gratitude? Oh boy, I can think of a lot of things. I mean, there are things I'm grateful for, but have I expressed gratitude for like indoor plumbing or clean water or even the refrigerator that keeps my food cold? There are so many things that we have, so many blessings. Have we stopped for a moment and expressed gratitude? So I just leave that with you. Whoa, what would be missing in my life because I hadn't even thought to express gratitude? In a research study that was done, and I love this particular one because it involves 300 college students, they were all seeking mental health counseling at the university. So they decided let's divide them up in three groups and try some different things to see what we can move the dial on. Now, all of them were getting counseling, but the first group, they said, every week we want you to write a gratitude letter to someone else. The study was happening for 8 weeks. Now, the second group, they said, we want you to journal all the hard things that are happening in your life. And we also want you to do your counseling. The third group, they said, we just want you to come to counseling. The group that they had assigned the gratitude letter to, at the end of 4 weeks, they were in immense gratitude. But at the end of the 8 weeks, they were actually told to go hand deliver that gratitude letter to somebody and face to face express their gratitude and experience it with them. And just because of that expressing, they had a residual another 3 months full of mental wellness. That didn't necessarily happen with those that had the counseling or those that had written down the hardships in their life. Now, the grand takeaway of this and similar studies is that when we write a gratitude letter or express, we have the shared benefit of benefiting not only us, but the only person. And those residual benefits are up to 3 months when we recognize it, when we feel it, and when we express it. Now, many years ago, I heard the saying, a grateful heart sits at a continual feast. I mean, think about that. I was like, feasting continually because I have a grateful heart? What does that even look like? I even have that as a screenshot on my phone. But I want you to envision this scenario of something that happened to me in a group. We went up to a beautiful reservoir just north of where I am. It was a fall. There was kind of a private little beach that we would spend time in the summers and absolutely loved it. And even though it was fall, a little bit crisp, we were excited to get onto the beach. And as we started walking down there, we saw the reservoir water that you can see behind me, right? The vista and the leaves. Okay, you can see them behind me. A little bit of dusting of snow on the mountains. And it was a beautiful day. Absolutely beautiful and breathtaking. And here on this beach, we put down our chairs. But what was right next to us? Oh my gosh, a dead, decaying, stinky fish. Yes, flies and everything. It was totally horrible. But we didn't have anything to remove it. But we decided to just plop down our chairs because we only had a little bit of while to be able to converse and spend some time together. Well, some of our group, they were fixated on that stinky fish. They could not get over the stinky fish, and they were talking about it and ruminating about it. And their entire time was about how that stinky fish had ruined our time together. But the others, they were busy looking at that beautiful vista. Look at that. The blue sky and the beautiful water. And even though there was a stinky fish on the side, that wasn't the focus. And they had an amazing day. Now, isn't that symbolic of how our lives are? Our lives have stinky fish, but we can raise our sights and we can enjoy the vista and the beautiful lake. We can truly feast. And it all depends on where we focus. Do we let the stinky fish ruin our lives with complaining and blaming and disappointment and arguing and disapproval and fear and anguish and despair? Or do we literally raise ourselves up and look at the vista, look at the bright spots, the things that we can be grateful for? Because when we do, we place ourselves in a position of empowerment. A grateful heart sits at a continual feast. And where our focus goes, energy flows. And that's what we bring into our life. So it's our choice of focus. Gratitude is a learned skill. It does not come just naturally. It's something we choose to focus on. So scientifically, how does this open doors? Well, gratitude shifts the brain out of that survival mode. We've got the amygdala, the emotional center, and the limbic system. But when we raise ourselves into gratitude, as we start focusing on those vistas, all of a sudden takes us into the frontal cortex, and it boosts our dopamine and our serotonin, and it doesn't even cost us anything. But that opens up all of our problem solving skills and our ability to be creative. The second way, scientifically, it opens doors, it biologically raises our frequency. If you study a little bit about David Hawkins and the different vibrational signature of emotions, shame being the lowest, and fear and anger, gratitude is way up there. And above that is love and joy and enlightenment. So when we move into gratitude, our vibrational field literally increases. If you've heard about heart coherence, we are chemical and electrical beings, right? Our heart just expands out there. So the higher our frequency, the more our clarity, problem solving, and the more the possibilities in our life. Another way is gratitude activates the reticular activating system. The reticular activating system is one that helps you pay attention when you're in a huge stadium of people and somebody calls your name, they recognize it. When you start liking something, also you see a billion of them because your brain using the reticular activating system is now saying, oh, pay attention, that's it important to them. And you start seeing things. So literally, if we focus on problems, we're going to see more problems. If we focus on fear, we're going to see more threats. If we focus on gratitude, we're going to see more blessings and opportunities. So the reticular activating system starts filtering the world through gratitude, through that lens of gratitude. So those opportunities that were previously hidden, all of a sudden, they become obvious. And that is why things start to click in place. That's why blessings multiply. That's why your garage door finally opens. But gratitude also makes you more magnetically attractive. People are drawn to people who are like warm and positive and calm and imbue hope. Like in Level Up, we always say your vibe attracts your tribe. So when you're a person of gratitude, people help you more, they collaborate more, they recommend you more, and they think of you when opportunities arrive. This is why gratitude doesn't just change you, it changes your environment. You literally become a magnet for good things. Now, there's 3 different levels of gratitude, I said. The first one is the low-lying fruit. Our first level of gratitude we can be in is when we receive things or people do things for us or we get things, we can say we're thankful for that. We're grateful for that. The second level takes a little more skill. This is when we go out and we look for things to be grateful for. We scan the horizon, we scan the vista. We're in different situations and we find the good. Now, the third level takes even greater skill. It's when we see the vistas, we see the blessings, we express gratitude even when times are hard, even when others conspire around us, even when we're going through really tough times, even times of adversity. That's when we seek and find those things to be grateful for. And it brings peace and hope and joy and those higher frequency feelings and emotions in the midst of adversity and hardship. We can't wait to be grateful when life is just smooth or when someone has done something extraordinary for us. It's those times of even when that we need to be grateful even more. So all 3 levels of gratitude hold a superpower. So how can we increase that? Big. B-I-G. Begin with gratitude in the morning. So when you're fully awake and a little foggy, just wake up and start expressing things that you're grateful for. What are you doing? You're priming yourself for the day. And when you put a smile on your face, all of a sudden the chemistry of your body is like, oh, this is going to be a great day. This is going to be amazing. Now, you've heard about journaling at night before you go to bed because everything is about priming your brain to go to sleep during the sleep, amazing things happen. So going to bed with gratitude only multiplies it during the night. Another one is model kindness for your friends. Say thank you, appreciate things, notice what's been done. We can be an influence and set the tone wherever we are, even little reminder notes or little memes that we send people. Those messages of appreciation. You know, employers, teachers, we can literally squelch someone else. Or we can ignite a fire. The Harvard Medical School did a study and they saw that grateful leaders motivated employers to be more productive. They did a study with fundraising calls. And those employers who thanked those who were doing calls actually got 50% more out of them than their counterparts that heard no token of appreciation. So imagine the influence we can have. I did something that helped me and my family years ago. I bought a beautiful bell and then inscripted on it in gratitude for all the miracles that abound. And I keep it in my kitchen. And every time we recognize a miracle has happened, we ring the bell. And it's a loud bell, but it's like teaching our brain, like, we recognize something. And it's even funny because even my friends, when I'll express a miracle or something I'm grateful for, they'll say, ring the bell. So gratitude is a skill. It's a skill, guys. It's something we develop. It's that deliberate focus. It's seeing the vista instead of the stinky fish. And when we step into gratitude, it's a ripple effect. It creates a change all around us and it starts opening up doors that we never even saw before because we hadn't placed ourselves in that frequency. So, how does gratitude open doors? Well, in one sentence, gratitude elevates your brain, your heart, your energy, your perception into a state where solutions, opportunities, intuition, and blessings finally reach you. The doors were always there. You just finally got the key. All right, my fellow creators, thank you for listening in. I'm grateful you came. Let's go out and look at the vistas. Tally ho, my friends. Hey, thanks for tuning in. If you like this kind of information, don't forget to subscribe and to like down below. And to show my appreciation for you, there's a free downloadable on gratitude in the description. It talks about gratitude, the 3 different levels, and there's a fun little craft. Whether you're a teen, whether you're a parent, whether you're a family, it's kind of fun for everyone. Tally ho, my friends. Look forward to the next video. See you next week.